find peace and prosperity, and that took some passion, family values or whatever. And I thought about that, and a guy like JR finishing Bucknell and having passion for the game and looking for some prosperity, and whereas Horace really said, "Go west, young man," he went east. But he accomplished the same thing as those who went west.
Right.
Yeah, he went east for prosperity. That's interesting, though, to watch these youngsters. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him, because I would have done the same thing if I had his talent. I would have done the same thing. But I finished college in 1956, and they had just desegregated. They call it integration. I've never used the word integration. Integration is not here now, even though I see some funny things going on when I go in the shopping mall. But desegregation. And when they desegregated the NBA, they would only let one black team. Not that I was good enough, but I did have a teammate who was good enough, and but they already had one black player, so he didn't fit into that. They brought him up for a trial, but they had one black, and they felt the one black they had was better than he, so they kept. Then finally they brought 2 blacks, 3 blacks, and then it just blew up like John McLennan predicted, and we just dominated the game. Right now it's 70%, approximately 69 point something, 70% African Americans, 20% international players, and 9% what they call white. I call European Americans, and that's a problem. Now, African Americans don't see that, but that's a problem. There's a little bit of disparity there. Dr. Martin Luther King taught us in the Civil Rights Movement, and I heard his words. I cannot articulate it the way he did, but what he was trying to say, in a free society, every facet of it must be open to all the races, and all must participate in that. Whatever the activity is, they all must be involved. They've got to be a part of it, or it will cease to lose its importance, and it might even not exist.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
And what sometimes African Americans don't understand. I talk to these young scouts that I work with. They really don't see the big picture. That if we don't straighten this thing out, it's going to affect their children and their grandchildren. There's a great possibility our grandchildren won't be playing basketball because we're not putting anything into it like we used to. And those who are fortunate enough to be in it, they're not doing anything to really make it something that you want to reach out to. A lot of things going on that I really can't discuss because I'm working in the NBA, but there's a lot of things going on that really would cause Coach McLennan to just break down and cry.
Wow.
I see some deterioration going on. But there again, the globalization of the game is going to save it.
Okay.
It's going to save it again. The globalization of basketball is going to save basketball. And he told us that in the 1950s. He saw that vision, that all this we're seeing is going to happen. Black youngsters are going to dominate this game, and they're going to really take it to the next level, and then they're going to start coming down because they'll lose that passion for the game. They won't have that passion that JR mentioned in his manuscript. They won't have that. And I've seen it. They lose a ball game, even high school kids. They lose a ball game. I remember the kids just fall out and cry, and you have to pick them up and carry. Kids not lose a ball game, they start looking at the watch. Meet Susie. They don't have that passion like they used to, and they definitely don't play like they used to. We just like our team. I've seen the other race after games. They'll be over there trying to work on the skill an hour after the game, whereas many of our kids probably most of them after game they gone. They got things to do. The clubs, get that for the clubs closed and all that.
Right.
And it was interesting. I was helping Avery Johnson with his team with the Mavericks, and after practice, he said, "Now watch Dirk Nowitzki, the big German." He said, "Now watch him. Practice over, come through the door, the team goes rushing, man, and knock you down, get to the dressing room. He turns left." And I said, "Hey, where is he going?" He said, "Just watch him. There's an auxiliary gym there. He goes and work out for another hour and a half by himself."
Wow.
And I said, "You know what, AJ? During the Second World War, we would taught to hate the Germans because they were our enemy." I said, "Now that kid has changed my whole image of what Germans are." I said, "Just with that basketball, I love Dirk now." And I saw what he's talking about. That's Dirk. When he mentioned Dirk, and I said, "That's Dirk, nicest kid in the world."
Wow.
Works on his game, respects the game, he has passion for the game, and some of those other guys, man. So, but I told Avery, that kid there with that basketball has changed my whole. Because I was, when you're a youngster during the Second World War and you fighting the Germans, I mean, directly or indirectly, you gonna hate them Germans, the Nazis, Adolf Hitler, all of them. That kid changed. He changed my head.
Wow.
That kid changed. So there's a lot of, like John McLennan said, you can use sports to get a lot of things done that you couldn't do with diplomats and treaties and all this stuff that they talk about. I remember we had there was a big gap between the USA and China.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't speak to each other. We didn't do this, and I don't know who arranged it, but they had a table tennis match. This must have been 30, 40 years ago, maybe longer than that. Had a table tennis match between an American kid and a Chinese kid. Everybody wondered how do you get them together? But anyway, within a few weeks, we were speaking to the Chinese again. We were over there. And now everything, these clothes probably made in China. All because two kids got international table tennis ping pong match.
Right.
And I'm saying, wait a minute, this is. I bet you if I undress right here, I bet most of the stuff made in China.
Yeah.
And I remember the time, there was some dirty low down so and so. We didn't speak to them. We had no diplomatic relationship with China. We stopped all relationship.
Wow.
And then two little kids had a tennis match, table tennis match.
So, what do you see JR's place in this globalism? I mean, in the reforming, if you will, for lack of a better term, of basketball. I mean, his place in the history of it.
I would like to see him join partnership with the NBA, not so much as a player, but as an administrator.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a need for that.
Okay.
A friend of mine, they just hired him to head up the NBA Africa, because he's in Africa, and it fits well for him. And the players in the future, if you saw the NBA draft list, I don't have it with me, there are a lot of in the top 30. You got a lottery pick, and then you got first round, that's 30 people, and you got 30 in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And in that first round, you got about 8 or 9 foreign kids.
Wow.
And over in the second round, there must be at least 15 or 20 kids ready for the draft. And it's probably more than that, but some of them don't feel comfortable yet leaving their homeland. I understand that.
Right.
But that's going to change. And you ain't going to worry about it. That's going to change as they see these kids come over. I'd love to see JR in the administrative side of that, ambassador to NBA, ambassador in Europe. That to me, that would be he can't continue playing.
Right.
Yeah. So
right.
I would see. I think Darius and I mentioned something about coaching in this country. That's all right, but guys like JR, you need him on.